Where is the chair? And people like Assange, he's Assange of our art. And he is asking for fighting for the rights of the people. And he is fighting against the imperialism. So we must stand against the imperialism and we must stand our ways for the Assange. And free Assange and not to extradite. Free Assange! Free Assange! Free Assange! Thank you. Yes.
Welcome everybody. This is my first stream with the new phone. It's only an S20, but it'll do. So thanks Lisa and others.
After so many years of abuse and torture, to be with his wife, little children, with his family, all his friends, and all of us that love Julian Assange and WikiLeaks so much. Julian Assange must be free. Julian Assange must be free. And we must fight in this historic battle to win, or our children will be next. Free Julian Assange now!
So this is actually all this is actually all one statue. So even the chairs aren't real. It's just like it's part of the statue. If you see what I mean. Oh, you got obviously you got Assange here in the middle.
I grew up
Edward Snowden, and this individual here is Chelsea Manning, who is a trans person and went from, you know, born woman, now identifies as a man.
Free the independence of the press. I reached 80 years old and I found that I have failed in my belief. The judiciary has been compromised. The press is silent and Parliament is no longer the dignitary that I believed it to be. And I stand here equally shamed and sullen and silent, saddened and shamed in the country that I had so much respected. And this is why this man should be free. And this is why I fear, really fear, that he will not.
Oh yes he will.
Hip hip. Where are you from? How you doing, you alright?
Yes, all right. Yeah, go on.
We want to sing a song.
Fantastic. Well done.
Can you hear me at the moment? We're going to sing a song called Legal Illegal, which was written by Ewan McCall in 1977, but it's still very topical. And Roz, one of our choir members, wrote a new verse especially for Julian Assange, following the book by Nick Metzler.
Yeah, move. They got space. Yeah, move. Yeah. Everybody got comfortable. Yep, sure.
Guys, we're going to start the meeting. We're going to start.
My God, there's a man. There's a man interrupting these women. How dare he? How dare he?
Dude! So one song.
Oh my God. One song will get beaten.
Every time you pick up a newspaper, every time you switch on the TV, you can bet your boots that at some point you'll see a high-ranking plumber or Tory MP calling on all who are British and free to stand up and defend law and order. It's illegal to rip off a payroll. It's illegal to hold up a train. But it's legal to rip off $1 million or two that comes from the labour that other folks do, to plunder the many on behalf of a few. It's a thing that is perfectly legal. If you fashion a bomb in the kitchen, you're guilty of breaking the law. But a bloody great nuclear plant is okay. The plutonium processing hastens the day. It's time that one may be blasted away. Nonetheless, it is perfectly legal. If your grandmother wishes to end it, it's illegal to poison her tea. But poison the rivers, the seas and the skies, and poison the minds of the nation with lies. If it's done in the interest of free enterprise, then it's proper and perfectly legal. To report from the front line is legal, embedded with our voice out there. But to find out the truth about crimes outside and share it to counter the government lies. To show trial and decades inside. But whoever said truth was illegal, to find out the truth about crimes outside and share it to counter the government lies. To show trial and decades inside. There's no way the truth is illegal.
When you say switch off, is a battery actually out of the phone? It can still be
Front row seat, guys. Anyone who knows who's screaming from No to NATO in Edinburgh? I don't know. I know David Clues is speaking there, and Brian Gerrish of UK Column. But UNN is David Clues.
Good afternoon and welcome to Parliament Square. My name's John Rees from the Don't Extradite Assange campaign. This is the 6th time that we have attempted to bring this magnificent Anything to Stay statue to London. We tried to bring it to London squares. We tried to bring it to churches. We were refused every single time, and so we decided to do the only thing left open to us, and that was to have a public demonstration in Parliament Square in defence of Julian Assange, and we're very pleased to have the Anything to Say statue here as our platform today. So this is a very, very urgent moment. This is really the 11th hour for Julian Assange in the British court system. So you will hear this many times this afternoon. Please, whatever you have done so far to help this campaign, to defend the free press, please do more now. Now is exactly the right moment to pull out every single stop, to stop Julian Assange being extradited to the United States and put on trial for crimes which he did not commit and for being a journalist. That cannot stand. Please redouble your campaigning efforts. Now, the first person that I've got here to speak to you today is an MP who stood by Julian Assange from the beginning.
Labour.
He's the only MP to have got in to Belmarsh to see Julian Assange. Please welcome Labour MP John MacDonald.
First of all, can I just say, can we thank the artist who's with us who created this formation? Thank you very much for this piece of work. It says more eloquently in statue form what most of us can say. As I said, I'm John MacDonald, I'm a Labour MP, but I'm the secretary of the National Union of Journalists Parliamentary Group. So our job is to speak up for journalists in Parliament. And we speak up for journalists who've been abused, imprisoned, and sometimes who've lost their lives performing their role in democratic and undemocratic societies, which is to expose the truth and to hold politicians to account for their decisions. Julian Assange is a journalist. He undertook, yes, a perilous mission, but it was a mission that had to happen, which was to expose the truth about the war crimes that were taking place, often in our name, in Iraq and elsewhere. And for standing up for the truth, for exposing the truth, as any true journalist would. He's been imprisoned year after year. Only a couple of miles away from us in Belmarsh now, he's the longest serving political prisoner that there is in this country. We now know more about the role of the state in this country too, thanks to the work of another journalist called Stefania Massimi. She has been absolutely dogged over the last 8 years in pursuing the truth about how Julian was treated in this country, and in particular the role of the Crown Prosecution Service. We now know more as a result of those Freedom of Information requests about how much collusion there was between the Crown Prosecution Service here and the Swedish authorities to secure Julian's extradition to America. And we know the risk to his life if he's extradited. We'll continue to expose that, but I believe it brings shame upon this country for the role it has played in the persecution of a journalist who simply wanted to do what journalists should do, is report the truth. That's why in this coming period now, exactly as John Rees has said, this is absolutely critical now. We do all that we can to prevent the extradition. But I think more importantly, we demand the freedom of Julian Assange. He should be home with his family. Julian Assange's imprisonment and persecution brings eternal shame on this country, and we need to continue to expose it and stand in solidarity. So I think all of us here today, let's recommit ourselves to this campaign. Freedom for Julian Assange, protection of journalists, and yes, all those who speak the truth. Solidarity.
Thanks so much, John. We're very grateful for your support. And now I'd like to welcome the person who sculpted these magnificent statues, the Italian sculptor Davide Domino. Please give him a huge welcome for all the work that he's done and for this piece of work.
When men are silent for too long, sometimes it's the statue that speaks. And this is a perfect place. Mandela is here, Gandhi is here, Millicent Garrett Fawcett is here. Art cannot change the world, but it has the capacity to give us a different vision, to show us the contradiction of our time and see the world with new eyes. This sculpture is intended to be a weapon of critical mass construction. There is a moment when the stand becomes a duty.
Yes.
And this is the proof. Free Assange!
Thank you very much, Davide. Thank you for the work and for the effort of bringing it here. Now, the next speaker that I want to introduce you to is a fantastic MP. She's had a hard time staying an MP. We're all incredibly glad that she is, and she's been a supporter of Julian Assange since the very beginning. Please welcome to the stage the MP for the Labour Party, Absama Begum.
Struggle is nothing compared to Julian's. As John said, I'm Oksana Begum and I'm the Labour MP for the constituency of Poplar and Limehouse, a proud East London constituency that stood in its hundreds and thousands opposing the Iraq war. We all have a duty to defend our freedom of speech, and we all have the right to know. Edward, Chelsea and Julian did that for us. They made their move in spite of becoming visible, in spite of becoming threatened, judged and jailed. They chose courage. There will be those that call them traitors, but for me, I know they will go down in history as being among the greatest of truth tellers in modern history. Most statues in public places commemorate warriors and those that took us and led us to war. And I'm glad that this instalment is here today outside and in Parliament Square and outside Parliament. Because in Parliament, inside and outside Parliament as well, as you can see here, there are many statues and there are many portraits just commemorating all of that. And the late Tony Benn, when he reflected on the statues and memorials that exist inside Parliament, said when he and Jeremy Corbyn went and put the plaque up for Emily Wilding Davison, he reflected and he said that this place doesn't actually commemorate and mark those who fought for truth and those who fought for democracy. If one walks around this place, one sees statues of people, not one of whom believe in democracy, votes for women or anything else. We have to be sure that we are a workshop, not a museum. So as we stand here, let's pay homage to these three whistleblowers who said no to war, who said no to the lies that took us and led us to war, and who said no to the intrusion into private life that helps perpetuate and accepted their loss of freedom. They paid such a huge price so that we could have the truth. And I think we're not really free until they are all free. We are not free until Julian Assange is free.